Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video and welcome to the jewel in the Formula 1 crown. Yes, it's time for the Monaco Grand Prix of our 2002 career mode. Yes, obviously, if you missed out on the video that went live a couple of days ago from Barcelona, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. But today we return to a race that we have won on the last two occasions we have come to Monaco. Yes, technically, inside this timeline, I have not lost a race around this circuit this entire millennium, which is quite a good going record, I reckon, in the sport, and boy oh boy, do I need to try and keep that record up this weekend. Williams have won all three of the opening Grand Prix so far this year. Jacques Villeneuve has 68 points to his name ahead of Frentzen and myself. We're up to P3 overall in the championship standings after a couple of podium results in, obviously, Zandvoort and Barcelona. Now just 2 points ahead of our teammate Michael Schumacher. Anthony Davidson, he's finished P5 in every race so far that we've done. He and BAR are just having a magnificent start to life together inside this series, and it has been a real joy to watch. But of course, yeah, we've got Monaco this weekend, then we head to some faster circuits. Azerbaijan, Canada, France, Austria, Silverstone. It's certainly going to be interesting over the next few Grand Prix to kind of see as to how we fare. We have got a couple of upgrades in the works. We've got a huge rear downforce upgrade that will hopefully be on the car ready for the next race out in Baku. Of course, if you're new, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed as well. But we are taking an F2002 Ferrari to Monte Carlo. Boy, am I looking forward to this. Well, we've got to savour this experience then, driving a Ferrari V10 Formula 1 car from the golden generation of Ferraris here on the streets of Monte Carlo. This place is special, and it could on paper be a really good track for us. The car looked very, very good last weekend through the final sector of Barcelona, so I'm hoping that has normally been a good indicator of whether a car will run well around this circuit, but of course you never quite know kind of what setup Williams were running on those two cars either last weekend. All we can do is try and keep it clean and tidy and pray that by the end of it we have got a car with enough pace there. We've still only had one pole position inside this game at the Hungaroring last season. Again, another pretty high downforce circuit, but hoping here as we get in towards the second half of the lap that the pace will slowly come to us there. Frentzen still a little way just in front. We still haven't out-qualified Michael yet so far this season, so it'd be good if we can just do that as well. Sort of rubbing up against on the Armcos through the exit of Tabak, then nudge the inside wall down through the Raskas, but can we get the power down at the final corner? Villeneuve's going to do it again, up towards the line. It is P3, our best qualifying session of the year, but gutted to be so close and not quite enough. Well, that is definitely the closest we've been on one lap pace of those Williams cars so far this year, but gutted to see Michael Schumacher down in P6 come the end of the session there. Of course, Anthony Davidson is in P5. I'm pretty certain he spent the entirety of this season so far in at that 5th place. David Coulthard, though, showcasing that McLaren have got some good pace in that car. The same can't be said for Marc Genet, who will line up down in 12th. No other major surprises, though, up and down the grid. So let's head then into the Monaco Grand Prix.
Formula 1 on ITV in association with Texaco.
Formula One returns to Monte Carlo once again today, home to the world-famous Monte Carlo Casino, first opened in 1863. And, of course, a certain road race, first held here in 1929. There's no greater an occasion, no more valuable a win than the Monaco Grand Prix. The prestigious Circuit de Monaco then. It's not all that dissimilar today to the layout that made its debut almost a century ago. It's 2 miles and 19 corners through the streets of Monte Carlo, and although the average lap speed of around 93 miles per hour is the lowest of the season, the tiny margins for error make it the natural habitat of the safety car.
Well, it seems like a very, very familiar sight as we're down on the grid here. We're stuck behind those Williams cars, and I'm praying if we can get between them on lap 1, then maybe, just maybe, we can do something interesting to try and upset their rhythm as we go throughout the afternoon. But yeah, 39 laps ahead of us, though, here from the Monaco streets. This is the toughest race of them all, and I think this season is going to be very, very interesting as we wait on the grid, though, for those 5 red lights. It is going to be lights out, and oh wait, we go there. We need to try and get a good start, but Anthony Davis has nailed it around the outside. So has Frentzen, though, as all those Williams cars bang wheels at the first corner. We almost did the same thing with Michael Schumacher. Luckily, we were getting ahead of our teammate there, but look at Davidson really trying to attack those Williams at the front of the order. Nowhere to go for him, as Heinz Howell will get around the outside of Jacques Villeneuve and straight up into P1. We will send it back down the inside of the BAR car there, so that's probably more action on lap 1 by the end of Sector 1 than you were getting most Monaco Grand Prix, as this yellow flag's out a little bit further back. I don't know if that's just the Constantina and up effect or what was going on, but yeah, it seemed like all the cars on the outside line actually had the advantage down at turn 1, and Frentzen has used that to the best of his abilities through those first couple of turns. Has got to be so careful with the traction bog off of the corners. It's so easy just to get met with a little bit of wheel spin. So you just rub down the barriers. That's not what I need to be doing early on. But yeah, let's see if we can try and attack Villeneuve. Well, already then your top 3 just starting to bolt away from the rest of the order. And again, it looks like we have got the 1-lap pace to compete with those 2 blue and white cars just in front of us. But yeah, Schumacher, he could be in for a very, very long afternoon if he's not able to get back around that BAR car pretty quickly. Really just seems to have struggled over the last couple of weekends at kind of keeping in touch with our top 3 overall. But I'm already trying to think about the strategy game here. Our early pace, we seem to always be able to take the first set of tyres further than those Williams. That could prove very useful if they get held up in traffic. But it is a really, really awkward kind of thing here in Monaco. I just want to, give ourselves a little bit of breathing room. Not feel like we're tucked up right under the gearbox of those 2 Williams cars, but I know I can't. If one of them tries to go for a slight undercut or something like that, and we've got to be there immediately ready to fill that gap. I'm sure there was a plan down at Williams for the start of this one, and I'm sure going wheel to wheel through the first couple of corners and banging together, trading paint was not that plan. But either way, Frentzen, it's again another reminder that he wants to be in the World Championship fight. But yeah, they've still got to worry about not only each other, but also me. Whoa, that's the one place. I'm sorry, that is horrendous commentary, but I was literally about to say that is the one place where I seem to be comfortably quicker than Villeneuve around this circuit. And we just timed it perfectly and slipped down the inside of the Williams car. New fastest lap of the day, and that is perfect early on. We are between their 2 cars now. They cannot try and, throw one under the bus to help the other one out. And for Frentzen, that works out even better, because of course if we were to finish like this, I believe he and Jacques will be tied on points again. Well, to go from P1 to P3 at the start of this Grand Prix, I'm sure is not what Jacques Villeneuve would have wanted, but he must go to bed on a Saturday night feeling pretty confident if you're lining up P1 here. But yeah, after that start though, and after the move we made on him, I'm sure Jacques Villeneuve very, very frustrated. He has got to think about the bigger picture though, something that maybe a couple of times last year he struggled with a bit too much. Williams, they've got to be able to get to the end of the season still, with both drivers pretty happy with a car that is still very, very competitive. As you can just see, yeah, Frentzen is slightly more confident through that chicane there as we nudge the inside wall through to back. But yeah, he's definitely not immune to making errors either. Really does feel like already we're starting to play a big game of chicken at the front of the order as another new fast lap of the day. There we go, Anthony Davidson, the first of your front runners to peel into the pit lane. So that means that more and more cars are going to think about it. My plan is just go one lap longer than Frentzen. Whenever he boxes, I will go one lap longer, unless it looks obvious that he's about to get held up in traffic. Oh, there we go, Villeneuve. Villeneuve from behind is in then, so we're going to have to keep an eye out on where he comes back out in this Grand Prix. There's about a 20-second gap back to Jarno Trulli. Obviously, yeah, did pretty well around this venue. Michael Schumacher as well, also into the pits then. So will we see Jacques Villeneuve come out ahead of Jarno? If he does, then this might be the perfect chance to try and box in this Grand Prix. No, he won't. Yes, he will. Come on, we need some more information. He will just about come out ahead of Jarno Trulli. So I think we've got to try and box now then to make sure that we don't get undercut. This could be a battle of the pit crews then as we make our way into the pit lane. Almost into the back of Heinz-Harald Frentzen then. And yeah, we are going to see a battle between Ferrari and Williams here. I don't think we'll be able to get the jump on him. 2.7 second stop. No, we don't, sadly. So we will still be behind one of the Williams cars in this Grand Prix. But has Villeneuve been able to get some temperature into those tyres? And we'll potentially be able to capitalise here as we make our way back out onto the circuit. Come on, Frentzen. Got to get on with it, sir. As I don't think, yeah, Villeneuve definitely has not got the jump on us. But can we try and capitalise? So you can see Frentzen there really lacking confidence. So we make our way back out onto the circuit. I think if we were going to try and punish him, what now has got to be that opportunity there, as for some reason the steering wheel went incredibly light up over the top of the hill. But, I mean, unless we can get a run somewhere around this circuit, which we're really struggling to, Frentzen for now will hang on. Frentzen again there just gets a little bit of a wobble as we make our way out to back. We saw it a couple of times in Barcelona. He would just have a little slip up, and that could potentially open the door for us. But that Williams car is really good. Oh, in a couple of places, not like that though. Oh, we do get down the inside of Frentzen. That was not quite the move I wanted to make. I'll give him the place back, I think, because we just completely kind of locked up into him. As Villeneuve as well, sensing an opportunity to try and get involved. We will let Frentzen back around the outside. We will not let Villeneuve back through, though. Not going to make it that easy for him. But yeah, that goes to show that we can definitely line up the opportunity. Just got to be a little bit more careful on the brakes. As, well, I think these 2002 cars are built a little bit stronger than the 2001 machines. Because that would have been both of us out of the Grand Prix. I mean, it's just all about the runoff for that corner. And again, we will get to the inside there. But that time around, we got it slowed down. We were fully past him. And, oh, the Williams, I think they've come together through the final corner. I think they're both still going, but Jacques Villeneuve there might have big problems. So I think Villeneuve potentially tried to have a look for a move, and I think he's out. Villeneuve is out of the Grand Prix then, so World Championship leader, contact between him and his teammate, and here's our first retirement of the afternoon. Well, let's take a look at this then from Jacques Villeneuve's point of view. You can see we line up the move, take Frentzen a little bit by surprise, but there is no contact made in the process there. Frentzen will have a look down the inside. Oh, and it's very little contact, but I think it's done the suspension on that Williams car there. You just have a look. Frentzen does try and give him room on the outside there, and just if we slow it down, Villeneuve skims the front, wallops the rear though. I mean, he's actually put the rear wheel through the wall, which is quite impressive there. So that will be enough to knock him out of the Grand Prix, and a disappointing end for Williams there for one of their drivers. I think Frentzen as well has picked up a little bit of damage in all of that going down. But yeah, he will be our first casualty then out of the Grand Prix. And that is the first time all year Williams have made a bit of a blunder. Well, I wonder as well whether Frentzen's actually picked up some damage from that, because he is losing bags of time through the final couple of corners as well of the very next lap. So Williams, they've had a perfect season so far. And I mean, the move from us was aggressive, but you kind of got to be around Monte Carlo there, as will we see Frentzen into the pit lane? No, we don't. So he's going to try and stay out there and just keep limping on as new fastest lap of the day instantly. Can't help but feel, yeah, that Williams, they might have been holding us up here. Now we finally found our way through. But, I mean, yeah, after the attempt we made the lap before, Frentzen has surely got to be thinking to defend Rascat a bit more. Because that time round, I mean, we were clean by your Zolt Baumgartners and your Marc Genets in this race. A safety car after that contact between Villeneuve and Frentzen could have been really, really useful. Because they are elevated way up the order, more than you would expect them to be right now. But yeah, we are now close to 2 seconds a lap faster than Frentzen here. I'd love to believe Schumacher can get past him before the end of the afternoon, once more of those cars have pit. But Anthony Davidson, he could be on for a really good result as well here. As Schumacher then up into now P4. I don't know where Davidson is though. Well, there is no better place than being out in front here on the streets of Monte Carlo, and it's a feeling that we have become fairly used to in recent seasons here. I'm trying to think. Ayrton Senna, Nico Rosberg, and Graham Hill. They are the only drivers off the top of my head that I can think of that have won this race 3 years back to back. I mean, obviously, at this point, Rosberg hadn't even done that. That would be a pretty exclusive club to join around these most famous streets, but there's still a long way to go this afternoon. Lapped cars could screw me. Looks like, though, that Genet has nailed that strategy in this Grand Prix, because he's come back out in P5. So I've got no idea which car it's been that's held everybody else up. I would assume it's got to be like a Jordan or a Toyota or a Minardi or something. But yeah, Marc Genet has got the jump on loads of cars. He's come back out in P5. That is fantastic. Well, I think one of my favourite parts about racing these classic cars around Monte Carlo is, of course, obviously you can hear them in other parts of the venue. We're coming through those final few corners, and you can hear some of the cars that are obviously going a lap down, making their way down past the start-finish straight. You can hear them over the top, going down through the tunnel. To witness the V10s going around here must have been something truly spectacular. Because, I mean, you would have been able to hear them miles away up in the hills. Well, Toyota then having a pretty terrible time of things so far this afternoon. Fisichella down in last place. And I believe it's Juan Pablo Montoya. Yes, it is, just in front of him. So that Toyota team definitely have got a lot more development they need to do if they want to, you know, get into a position where they are competitive inside this series. Maybe, just maybe, that is a team we could move to in the future inside this game as well. But yeah, this is where things get really tricky, trying to find a way past all these cars, as Montoya will let us by. Minardi, though, they're not in the bottom three. But as one Schumacher looks set to try and make this a 1-2 for Ferrari in this Grand Prix. The other one, well, he's got a lap down in P17, stuck behind the Minardi of Fernando Alonso here. Not too sure kind of what the strat was for Alonso and Raikkonen, but they have really made it work to actually get at the jump on a few other cars in this GP. And I tell you what, we only lost 4/10 of that lap trying to lap some of these guys. That's pretty good going. For the last one under this proper backmarker crew, Kimi Raikkonen will just about let us by there, a little bit awkwardly positioned. Oh, as we try not to hit the wall on the exit, that would be quite embarrassing. But yeah, through the first bunch of lap traffic though. I've got no idea whether we'll catch up to anybody else. I mean, we're running pretty similar times to what you would expect modern Formula 1 cars to be doing around this circuit. And again, I feel like I say it every time I come here, but once we get into the groove around Monaco in these classic cars, it is so much fun because they're so light, because they're so agile. You know, the traction control as well lets you mash your foot to the floor sometimes as well, but actually around here you're really trying to kind of drive around the traction control as best as you can. It is such a fun and rewarding experience when you got a car that feels hooked up around this venue. Yeah, I mean, the gap is probably being opened up far more than it ever should be here, courtesy of Frentzen's damage. But I thought we dominated last year's race here. This one might be even better. I just want to see if I can try and get a 1 minute 12 lap time there, as I could just tell the line Jenson Button was going to do was potentially going to screw me over. So luckily he was able to get on the brakes and avoid that one too badly. Rubens Barrichello as well will peel by and let me through. So yeah, most of these guys... Yeah, to be fair, the lap traffic actually today has been pretty good going. As I believe, yeah, it is today Alexander Wirtz that is holding up at the front of this little group. So I think, yeah, that has allowed Genet to get away in the way he has. Thank you, Jarno. We'll move past him, and, well, yeah, we have successfully lapped up then to 10th place in this Grand Prix. I'm wondering where Danica Patrick is around the circuit at the moment, because I'd like to try and put a lap on her as well by the end of this one. But, yes, he's running pretty well in this Grand Prix. There we go. That is Wirtz navigated. Where is Danica? Round in the final corners then to start the last lap of the Monaco Grand Prix. This place is special, as there we go into the 1 minute 12. So happy with that one as well there. I don't think we're quite going to lap Danica Patrick by the end of this, but by my logic, she's going to be the last car to cross the finish line, and that means that she should finish last here when all is said and done. But yeah, what a race this has been once again. You know, we took the gamble early on, but we found an avenue past Villeneuve that we were honestly just right place at the right time. Frentzen, we tried it once, didn't work, or it did, but it was not clean. But why on earth he wasn't defending it the very next time, because we were always going to try and capitalise yet again there. Then the Williams, a bit of madness and chaos down at their organisation. Villeneuve tried to get optimistic. Frentzen and him collide. Villeneuve's out of the Grand Prix. Frentzen forced to limp the car home. We won this race for BAR back in 2000. We won this race for McLaren in 2001. We join a very, very exclusive list here of 3-time Monaco Grand Prix winners. But more importantly than that, it is victory for Ferrari. Grazie ragazzi.
That is no stranger to the podium, taking their place on top once again. A sublime race today and a stunning win for Ferrari.
Well, there we are then, the end of the Monaco Grand Prix, and with that result, it means that Heinz-Harald Frentzen is the only driver now to have kept up a podium streak since the start of the year there. He comes through for P2 behind ourselves as we claim our first ever victory for Ferrari. Schumacher in third, gutted he couldn't quite get a 1-2 finish come the end of the day. Anthony Davidson, he doesn't finish fifth. In fact, he goes one better in P4 there, just ahead of Genet and Zot Baumgartner, who really made the long first stint work for themselves there. Mark Webber in P7 ahead of Danica Patrick, with Barrichello and Jarno Trulli rounding out our top 10 there. Coulthard unable to get into the points. Yeah, Jacques Villeneuve, the only driver who failed to see the checkered flag. What does that do to our championship? Well, it means that Frentzen now has an 8-point lead at the top of the table ahead of his teammate. We are just 2 points back behind one of our biggest ever rivals inside this series. Schumacher 12 points further behind myself, still ahead of Anthony Davidson, who has got a healthy buffer now ahead of Coulthard and Marc Genet. Further down the order, we've now just got both Toyotas, Jordans and Minardis, who are yet to score so far this year. Constructors-wise, 24 the gap has been slashed to between ourselves and Williams at the top of the standings as well there, with McLaren Mercedes just hanging on ahead of BAR as well. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very soon, ready for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. But back to back to back, we own the streets of Monaco.